for the recall. And as you can see, one side of the house is completely empty. In view of this, we have, as usual, got a quorum to sit, but we have no business before us to transact, because the business committee, as you know, they prepare a report, and this report is adopted by the House as business agreed by the House to transact during the course of the week. In the absence of that, there is no other authority that can put business before you which you have not adopted to transact. In view of the failure of the business committee to sit, as a result of the refusal of those who requested for the recall to show up, we are compelled to once again adjourn the sitting of the House. Knowing the challenges we are facing, it is not advisable to be adjourning from day to day. And so I'll proceed once more to adjourn the meeting indefinitely. And the meeting, this extraordinary meeting, is accordingly adjourned.
So obviously, as you heard Speaker of Parliament say, unfortunately, Parliament has been adjourned indefinitely, but we also have gathered some information that the NPP caucus will be addressing the press in a short while. As and when they actually are ready, we will cross over and bring you more details on that. But let's still maintain in Parliament. Meanwhile, the leader of the NDC caucus, Honorable Otto Forson, has called out members of the NPP to stop playing gimmicks with proceedings in Parliament. Addressing the media today after speakers adjourned the House, he said the NPP members of Parliament are causing financial loss to the state.
Behavior of the NPP and punish them accordingly. They have certainly, everything shows that the NPP are tired, they are fed up, and they are not ready to work for the people. They are bereft of ideas, and they are short of vision. They cannot solve the suffering of the people. All what they do out there during campaigns, in spite of the hashing, is to sing and dance Osisifia. That's all what they do. In times like this, when the ordinary Ghanaian is struggling to survive, they are dancing and singing Osisifia and sharing money. We want Ghanaians to see them as such and vote against them and sack them. Because clearly, you can see, we have over 100 NDC MPs here today out of the 137, and we are determined to do what is right. But colleagues, let me make this point to the people of Ghana. Let no one deceive you that the NDC is here to obstruct the people's business. We are rather here to work for the people of Ghana. We see this as a call to duty. We turn up in our numbers to do what we have to do, only to find out that the very group of people that called us to consider government business, they have no business. So the truth out there is that there is no urgent government business. There's no urgent government business, and the government has no business. They have given up, they've checked out, and they want the election to be done as soon as possible so that they can leave office. Fellow Ghanaians, let's vote against this incompetent government and have our country back. Thank you. Election to be done as soon as possible so that they can.
Obviously, you have heard the leader of the NDC caucus, Otto Forson, speaking over there. We're trying to establish contact with our parliamentary correspondent, Samuel Nimabo, on the line. Good afternoon, Samuel. Can you hear me?
Hello, good afternoon, Melo.
So obviously, as expected, today's sitting was supposed to have happened, but unfortunately, according to Speaker, business cannot proceed because the NPP failed to show up in Parliament. Obviously, as well, we have seen some agitations from both camps. Oh, well, unfortunately, we have lost him on the line. We'll try to establish contact with him again. Let's still stay in Parliament. And Member of Parliament for Medina constituency, Francis Xavier Sosu, has lamented against the recent misunderstanding surrounding Parliament's vacant seat. He says the Speaker is not at fault and must be free from attacks. He made this statement at Parliament before sitting today, November 7, 2024.
Is the leader of this house. I mean, is it the Speaker's fault that some members of Parliament chose to now go independent so they can vacate their seat? Is it the Speaker's fault? Did the Speaker ask them to come to Parliament on one particular party's ticket and then decide to either cross carpet and then move out? If this had happened in January, we would have done by-elections. So if it didn't happen in January and now it's happening at a time that we cannot do a by-election, let's respect the sanctity of Parliament. The Supreme Court must respect Parliament. The executive must respect Parliament. The people of Ghana must respect Parliament. This is the chamber of the people. We were elected by the people, the sovereign will of the people, to come here to defend Ghana's democracy. And we will not fail the people. If we fail in this chamber to defend the majority that the NDC has attained, then we have failed to uphold the sanctity of our democracy. And that is what we will not allow. Thank you. The people to come here to defend Ghana's democracy. And we will not fail the people. If we fail in this chamber to defend the majority that the NDC has attained, then we have failed to uphold the sanctity of our democracy. And that is what we will not allow. Thank you. The people to come here to defend Ghana's democracy. And we will not fail the people. If we fail in this chamber to defend the majority that the NDC has.
Still in Parliament, Communications Director for Parliamentary Network Affairs, Clement Akolom, says Parliament has been weakened by the other arms of government, such as the executive and judiciary, and this is due to its reliance on the executive for appointment and the interference in Parliament's business. This comes after the Speaker addressed the nation on the current happenings in Parliament prior to its recalling on November 7 after an indefinite adjournment. He says the Speaker is only setting the record straight that he is abiding by the Constitution and what in its domain. He said this on ABC in the morning.
Over the years, you can see that Parliament has been pushed to the ground and made to look very weak. And this, from the executive point of view, you realize that Parliament has been weakened, one, as part of the constitutional framing itself. The constitutional framing that allows the executive to actually pick members of Parliament as ministers. It means that they become part of the executive. That is a weakening of Parliament itself, because the members of Parliament cannot be loyal to Parliament itself. It is loyal to the executive because they are looking at what they will get, appointment and all those things from the executive arm. That is one from the executive side. Then when it comes to what we are seeing now about judicial overreach, the procedures, the outcome of Parliament itself, there seems to be an overreach.
Let's still remind you that we are your election poll center for all comprehensive and trusted election news. This is ABC. Be ready to serve you. Let's do some more news. Member of Parliament for Nigo Prom constituency, Samuel Nete George, has also voiced out against the actions of the NPP caucus for their absence from Parliament minutes before meeting began.
And that we were on the right track when I brought that bill to my colleagues and said enough is enough. When Kamala came to Ghana and came to misbehave, I told you that she should go back to her country and go and focus on fixing the economy. She lost because of the economy. She was busy chasing the honors of men, sleeping with men, and failed to work on the economy, and that's caused an election. The same way the NPP in this country is doing everything to fight to protect LGBTQ rights and prevent us from passing, they will lose, because the Ghanaian people know that President Akufo-Addo and the NPP are in support of LGBTQ. They have taken money from the LGBTQ community, and that's why the president and his party is unable to sign the bill and is playing all the kinds of games, and now they've recruited people sitting in the Supreme Court to play the delay tactics. The Chief Justice is aiding and abetting. But you see, the way Kamala has gone, all of them, from those in the executive to those in the Supreme Court, to play the delay tactics, the Chief Justice is aiding and abetting. But you see, the way Kamala has gone, all of them, from those in the executive to those in the judiciary, who think that they can fight against.
Let's still maintain focus on the MP for Nigo Prom, Samuel Nete George. He apparently also has sounded caution, threatening President Akufo-Addo to act on the Family Values Bill, or else will make sure that Parliament actually holds on any parliamentary or government business issues.
Constitution and writes back to us in 7 days, either approving of or in 14 days saying he won't approve. Parliament should not consider any government business. That's where we've gotten to. I spoke about it in March. And so if the Speaker has instructed the clerk should send it. If the President refuses it, Parliament must refuse to accept anything from the government as well. I mean, you cannot continue to disrespect Parliament, and it's because we've allowed this go on. That's why now we've allowed the executive to rub our faces in the mud. That's why the judiciary also thinks they can do the same thing. But enough is enough. Thank you very much. With Article 106 of the Constitution and writes back to us in 7 days, either approving of or in 14 days saying he won't approve. Parliament should not consider any government business.
Away from that, the Member of Parliament for Adansi Asokwa constituency, Honourable K.T. Hammond, has hinted that the NPP caucus will charge the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Kingsford Bagbin, for contempt. His comment follows Parliament sitting today, and of course he has added that it is about time the Speaker Bagbin respected the ruling of the Supreme Court, because he cannot admit the ruling just in the head without acting on it.
Has been stated by the Supreme Court, which interprets the Constitution, interprets what we do over here. Accordingly, the status quo ante should be reverted to. So we will know that we are going back to this. Why should the NDC guys rush to go and sit on the side of the NDC? What is that? No, but that is not the point. But where were they sitting? Where were the NDC people sitting? No, you are not listening to me. You are not listening to me. Let's get the fact right. Where were the NDC guys sitting? Is that where they're supposed to be sitting? But you see, we have a convention. We have a convention. It's not argument, nonsense. You guys are not listening. Supreme Court is speaking. It is all for us members of Parliament on the majority side to be arguing any point. This is a matter. This is foreclosed. It is completely foreclosed. Supreme Court is speaking. That is the end of the matter.
Why were you not at the business?
That is not again. If he said that, listen. The orders of the Supreme Court were directed specifically to the Speaker. It was the Speaker. It wasn't the leadership. It wasn't the clerk. It wasn't the leadership which made that ruling or that decision. It was the Speaker of Parliament who unconstitutionally made a proclamation, whatever it is that he said the last time. The Supreme Court has told him that he was wrong. Restore matters to what they were before you did that.
Line of action for the NPP.
Well, we will cite him for contempt. We will cite the Speaker for contempt. Watch the space.
But he says there was no business before the business committee. The Speaker says the business committee did not meet to put business.
The senior lecturer and political scientist Mohammed Abbas has urged the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to tread cautiously with his utterances about the supremacy of the law and Parliament. Speaking on ABC in the morning, he noted the Speaker's posture while addressing the press yesterday, Wednesday, October 6, 2024. He says portrays as though Parliament is above the rule of law, which according to him is erroneous. His comment comes on the back of Speaker's press briefing yesterday, stating that the powers of the judiciary end where the nose of Parliament starts.
So clearly this statement I don't think is in good faith as to in relation to the resolution of the current situation that we have in Parliament. That very clearly before even the Speaker coming out to say this, I said we didn't have any constitutional crisis. What we have is people seeing themselves as being above the law and not trying to subject themselves to the rule of law. And that is very key. And in this particular case, and the Speaker has demonstrated that clearly, that posture clearly, as if Parliament is above the rule of law. Parliament is above being subjected to the rule of law. He projects Parliament as being absolute in its decisions and actions so that nobody can challenge it. This has been clearly sent out there. It's a message which is totally erroneous. We have to be very careful about that because every institution and every power of government is subject to the laws of this country. That is the principle of rule of law. There's no institution in this country, and for that matter, no any head of any institution in this country whose decision or actions is not subjected to court interpretation or even, if you like, review. There's no such institution. Okay, so that clearly what we have is a political crisis, not necessarily a constitutional crisis, because the constitution is very clear.
So we told you earlier that the NPP caucus will be having a press briefing, to also address their side of the story as to whether or not they will be taking any action. As we speak now, the leader of the NPP caucus, Afenyo Makin, is actually speaking live. We will be crossing over in a jiffy. As and when we do establish more contact on that side, we will bring you. Okay, so we will be crossing live in a very short while.
Getting an impression as though those statements he's making are an authority on their own. It cannot be. A true Democrat will respect the rule of law.
Yes.
And that is why we decided to respect him. You know, ladies and gentlemen of the press, NPP, our tradition is to respect rule of law. Yes. It's out of deference to Mr. Speaker. That is why we did not enter the chamber. That we should share in that chaos theater with them. Never. We will not. MPP will not. We will not. Therefore, don't be swayed by their lies and their propaganda. The chaos they started is what they want to end. We will not allow that. We believe that we have to win the elections right at the polling station and would go and work. Right now, what the NDC has done, basically, are the following. One, they don't want Ghanaians who would be on account, appropriation on account. It's a constitutional requirement. So that is what they want. They want to stampede it. Two, they want to, again, create a certain impression that Ghana is lawless. Ghana is not lawless. We will not allow them to give a wrong impression to the international community. We will respect the law. Three, all these businessmen, you know, their fear is that under the 1D, 1F, these companies are going to create jobs. These companies will employ people. So their fear is that should these be addressed, it will mean that all their propaganda of unemployment would fall flat. So further to frustrate businessmen and drive them away. Are these Democrats?
No.
Now, frustrate businessmen and drive them away. Are these Democrats?
No.
Now, there are important things to do. We have the free SHS bill, which is before Parliament. Their main aim is to conspire with Mr. Speaker to prevent the free SHS bill from being passed.
Into law.
And in an unlikely situation where they see the light of day in the election, cancel it. That, oh, after all, there's no law backing it. Their main target is a free SHS bill. That is why there was a pre-announcement of its laying in Parliament, and you remember how they fought against it. So it's an opportunity for them to, as it were, prevent the free SHS bill from being passed. And if they succeed in doing that, to them, in their wishful minds, in their wishful thinking, parents will get upset and then say that after all, the free SHS was not working. The free SHS has benefited many Ghanaians, in spite of the challenges. We know as a country, the reforms that have been made by two ministers, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh and Dr. Yao Educhum. These two gentlemen who were assigned to superintend over the education ministry have done so well, and that the outcome of their works is known to all Ghanaians in the world. This is what the NDC want to set back. Thank you very much indeed. I would want. Now they also made some noise in the chamber. They also made, they double talk. They double talk. They do double speaking, double talking. Whenever a person lies, he fails to even be inconsistent. In the chamber, where they rushed to go and sit, and again, the clerk this morning, we pre-inspected the chamber. The clerk diligently arranged our name tags at where they were. They came and they physically removed them. And this is where, with the greatest respect and in all humility and in all modesty, my dear friends in the media, help us to shape opinion in the right way. Get the message across. They came in there and unlawfully removed our name tags, pulled their chairs to our place and sat on our seats. And Speaker, the cameras, I was watching in my office, and I'm sure you guys are set up. You set your cameras up proud to Mr. Speaker's arrival. You saw what happened. Let the Ghanaian people know. Now they said our members were not present. They claim that those, if indeed the Supreme Court had ruled, why were those members who were affected not in the chamber? Because Mr. Speaker has said nothing about them. This is what Kwame Agboja, making that point. Honorable Kwame Agboja said the members have had a favorable ruling from the Supreme Court, so they should have come. Really, if the Supreme Court ruling is being respected by them, why did they move to the right of Mr. Speaker? My respected colleague Cynthia Morrison is here. I said it in my plaint in court that she remains a member of our caucus, and she's here with us as a majority caucus. Nothing short of that. So I would want you to take note. Now, we look forward to engaging Mr. Speaker in the next few hours and days. We pray that he does the needful. If he doesn't do the needful, we will continue to rely on the law to get the right things done. The partisan politics that they are festing on us in the chamber must cease, must end. Parliament is a chamber for decent people. Yes. Parliament is a chamber for tolerant Democrats. Parliament is a chamber for people who want nation building without taking advantage of situations to score cheap political points. We will yield to these high values and high tenets of democracy. Thank you very much.
He has gone against the ruling of the Supreme Court, and by his.
So obviously, that was the leader of the NPP caucus, that is Honorable Alexander Afenyomakin. He's actually making some wild allegations over the first. He's alleging that the NDC and Speaker are conspiring to prevent the SHS, bill, and he didn't stop there. He also is alleging that when they got there, apparently the NDC, some members of the NDC apparently has taken off their name tags of where they usually sit. And again, he's alleging that Speaker must also respect the rules of law. And again, the last one I particularly picked was the fact that he said that the NDC wants to stampede government businesses. In all this, we want to understand what exactly the legalities and the back and forth is. But one very interesting thing I think we did see as well, if you watched it carefully, was the presence of Cynthia Mamle Morrison. Well, at the back of the conversation later in the bulletin, we will actually have a conversation on that. But I think we do have my colleague Samuel Nimabo on the line. Hello, Sami. Good afternoon. Hello, Sami.
Hello, Melo.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Now, I know you're actually stressed because you have been following this. In fact, you were there quite earlier to give us an update about this. What exactly has been happening and what actually is the latest report aside from what the NPP caucus have said so far?
Right. So today was projected to be a busy day. It turned out to be a dull day in Parliament where the House couldn't conduct business as a result of absence of NPP MPs in Parliament. But just at the tail end, as you have just watched, you see that the NPP caucus held a presser to address some concerns they have with the Speaker. Now, when in the morning when we went there, the NPP MPs failed to show up. Only 2 MPs from the NPP later came to the House. The first person who stepped in was the Ebuako South NP, Samuel Atachia, came in and said that they were going for, he wasn't aware, his colleagues were not in the chamber, he went away, said that they were going for a caucus meeting. Then the Speaker came in to sit and adjourn the House sine die, because the Speaker said that the House couldn't conduct business because even the business committee had not met because of the failure of the NPP MPs to show up. Then he went ahead to adjourn the House. Then the MP for Adanse, the Minister for Trade, came to the chamber. He didn't enter the chamber specifically. He came around the gallery. That is, Katie Hammond came and addressed certain concerns they have with the Speaker. In fact, at that meet the press that he had, he said that the NPP will cite the Speaker for contempt against the Supreme Court for his failure to comply with the ruling of the Supreme Court, the stay of execution, and the subsequent dismissal of the Speaker's appeal. He was very angry with the Speaker's position, the position the Speaker has taken, and for which reason he said that the NPP MPs decided not to come to the House because they realized that early morning the NDC MPs came to sit on the right side of the Speaker because the Speaker had failed to comply with the Supreme Court ruling or make his declaration, his stance on the position of the Supreme Court or his position on the Supreme Court ruling. And by that, the effect was not reflected. They were expecting to see the Speaker tell the NDC MPs that, no, you are now, I said you were majority, or by my declaration you became majority, now you have to go back to your minority status. The Speaker hadn't done that. So because of that, the NPP MPs failed to show up. And the MP for Adanse was very angry. He used some unpleasant words, and he had the NDC MPs, because of their numbers, some were mocking him whilst he was having his presser. And if you know him, you know how he can be a bit funny. He can throw jabs, and he was whilst making his point, he was ups here and there and making funny comments, but you could see that the position of the NPP, as just given by the leader, Afenyo Markin, is that they disagree outrightly with the speaker for saying that he will hold the Supreme Court to he holds the supremacy of the Supreme Court, the supremacy of the Constitution, but he will rather not hold to the supremacy of the judiciary or the Supreme Court, and by that he will not comply, or he is not complying with the ruling of the Supreme Court. And the NDC and the NPP MPs were not happy. The two MPs that came there, not happy at all, as we have just watched. But apart from that, one person that started this whole thing, I mean, the NP for Tamale. Yeah, the NP for Tamale South, the former minority leader, Haruna Idris, who started all this thing. He, at Tamale, when he was having a campaign, sounded a warning that they would take this procedure. He came to Parliament, petitioned the speaker, and
Hello, Sam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Kindly take it easy for me. So I just also want to find out from you clearly. You have listened to the NPP leader, that's Honorable Afenyo Markin, speak, and he is alleging that the NDC in Parliament today, apparently they took off their names, the name tags on their seat. Could you establish the fact of this, for us, just in case you were inside the House today?
Yes. I think that what happened, I didn't get a clear glance of it, but I saw some minority, some NDC MPs cross to the other side, the minority side, right? Because that is where their position were. They crossed to the minority side, and you saw that they took off the papers from their seat or their positions, and they went to their other side. So they were in the minority, their numbers, their names and everything is at the minority or the left side of the speaker. In the chamber, I saw some MPs. I think I saw the NP for Zebila in that side of the chamber. And I saw him tear something cross to where they were sitting today, the right side of the speaker, to, I don't know whether he plastered his name against a seat he was sitting on or whatever it is. But I can't categorically say that I saw that. But I think that the MPs, because, the seating arrangement in Parliament is such that they have names against their seat and all of that. So perhaps the
hello, Sam.
Yes,
kindly hold on for me. Don't go. We will come back to you. But first off, we just also want to let our viewers know that you engage the former minority leader, Haruna Idris. So kindly stay on the line. Let's listen to him. We'll be back with some more details.
All right.
I think it's important that we recognize as a country that the three co-equal organs of government perform distinct and separate functions and must respect the mandate, power and authority of the other. The matter before us may border on constitutional interpretation depending upon who invokes the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. But clearly, what is before us, given precedent, is a matter under Article 19 of the Constitution, which in my view strongly belongs to the high court of law on whether or not to declare this capital or not. But those of you who have studied Article 97 well, you must read the text well. The text reads, a member shall vacate his seat. Simple. A member shall vacate his seat. The onus is on that member. I'm not even too sure whether it's for the speaker to declare that seat. It says a member shall vacate his seat if he. And when you read the he, I have read from persons in government, even from the learned attorney general, seeking to talk about the future. The provisions in Article 97 does not only talk about the future, it talks about the past. When it uses the word, if he was elected, it didn't say if he is elected, if he was elected. And for me, I haven't revised my constitutional law lately, and particularly the use of the interpretation as I should. But basically, give words their ordinary common sense. It is only when the ordinary common sense leads to absurdity that you look for your secondary. I do not see how the text in Article 97.
So that was the former minority leader, Honorable Aruna Idrisu. Sam, are you still on the line?
Yes.
Yeah. So quickly, let's just wrap up. I mean, I just want to find out from you, as you were explaining that yes, you saw people or some members of the NDC tear a portion of papers around. I just want to confirm that when you went there, did you see these sheet or labels of these MPs on the right side or on the left side?
Right. So what happened is that the labels were still at the original positions. The labels were still at the original position. The NDC had their labels on the left side, and then the NPP had their labels on the right side. But I saw some MPs crossing to the left side to tear something and come to their right side. As to whether they came to plaster it there, that I can't confirm. But just to wrap up and say that the former minority leader, as our viewers have watched, is saying that the provision under Article 97 is according to his understanding, doesn't just border about the present or the future as to whether a person can vacate his seat. It also borders about the past, because he said if the person was elected. So he's clearly saying that this provision under Article 97 needs some constitutional, interpretation, and that position is quite different from what the other NDC MP has.
Hello, Sam.
Yes, Malo.
Yes, I'm afraid we'd have to end the conversation right here. We know that you gather more information, so when you come later, you actually update us more on that. We appreciate the time you've spent with us. Let's do maintain on this particular conversation, as we all do know exactly what is happening in Parliament. Gone by was the NPP leader, Honorable Ofenyo Makin, who clearly, as I said, was making some serious allegation over there, claiming that some MPs within the NDC caucus apparently went inside the house to take off or rip off some of their name tags on their seat. He also went on to say that the NDC and the Speaker are conspiring to actually halt on government businesses. Not just that alone, they are also preventing the free NCHS bill. And they go on to say that the NDC wants to stampede government business. We will try to establish contact with our government expert, Frederick Odro. I guess he's on the line. Good afternoon, sir. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Frederick Odro. Well, we're trying so hard to establish contact with the governance expert, Mr. Frederick Odro. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Frederick Odro.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. First of all, I just want to ask you, how dire is the absence of the NPP MPs in the ruling party?
Can you come again? The line is very faint.
Would you apologize, sir? I just want to find out from you, how dire is the absence today of the NPP MPs to the ruling?
Well, I mean, you have called for a meeting. How come you are not present? That's what I ask myself. The NPP side used the parliamentary recall process to bring them to parliament. So how come you have you've requested for a meeting, and the meeting is organized and you don't turn up? That's the question I've been asking myself.
Now, the petition, they say, to the Speaker, and, they say that they are not showing up, apparently, in case of any... In fact, we actually anticipated some heated conversations between the two parties, but today they didn't show up. Just as you said, they initiated the reconvening of Parliament, but they didn't show up. I want to find out from you, how much is this actually going to cost the country, for the fact that we always would have to, or the Speaker would have to adjourn sitting every now and then? How costly is this to the country?
No, it's costly because these are public officials. These are people elected and paid to perform that most important function for us. And if they cannot organize themselves into having meetings to take decisions about the well-being of the country, then it's a huge cost to the state. So, from my perspective, my hope is that we can just limp through and get this parliament out of the way. And I'm praying that we don't have this kind of parliament ever again in this country, because quite a number of people presumed that, yes, it might help our governance process. But I had my fears from the very onset. And I think my fears have been realized, in that I don't think this parliament has helped this country to any significant level.
So, Doctor, I mean, what actually happens to the pending parliamentary business, especially when we have barely 30 days to the election?
Well, for me, I don't see anything that is so urgent that it cannot wait until January. I mean, I'm open to anybody coming to show me that this particular bill is so critical to the immediate governance of the country, that if we don't have it, the country is going to come to a standstill. I don't think there is any of such bills out there. Yes, we may lose out on some things, but I would prefer having the peace of this country intact and this system limping till the end of its tenure, for us to have a new parliament that can actually do business that we expect. However, the danger is that there stands a great challenge that the outcomes of what has happened in this parliament is going to go into the next parliament. And the same characteristics, I mean, the behavior that we've witnessed in this government might transcend into the next government. That is my only worry. Because certain precedents have been set, which I think we've never seen ever before in this country. And some of them, particularly the lack of collaboration and the belief by some people that you are not on my side of the political die, so I shouldn't cooperate with you. The hawks in both sides of the parliament are too many. And for as long as you have too many hawks operating in the system, we can never get the collaboration and the cooperation that we need.
Dr. Odro, when you speak about collaborating, what exactly? Because we've had a lot of people say there should be consensus building. I'm actually also of the view, I mean, a lot of people sharing their view, but experts have said that the two parties should actually come to a consensus building. You're also proposing for the same thing. What exactly should be the final, I should say, the definite solution to this?
You see, yesterday, I mean, if you had listened to the speaker very carefully, he alluded to the fact that prior to every sitting, he will sit down with the leadership of the two sides, and even as to how they were going to conduct business, they will come to an agreement as to the way to go. Look, people are pretending things are not. The political parties are remote controlling their parties. For starters, we had a situation that a communication officer of the NDC openly insulted the speaker and the then minority leader. I mean, out of the blue, the NDC chose to change their leadership. Please, so these are all the issues that we should find ourselves facing. So that is the point, is that the political parties are remote controlling their parties, and they are insisting that even if you collaborate, even if you cooperate, they think you've sold their party out. They are thinking about their parties more than the country. So I don't think we can have any consensus in this, and everybody should note that if we fail to build consensus now, it's going to continue for a long time to come, unless a party can pull significant majority in parliament. Whichever government comes into power that doesn't have absolute majority is going to suffer.
All right. Dr. Odro, I'm afraid we'd have to end the conversation here, but I would like to engage you more in our subsequent broadcast and, of course, other engagements on this particular topic. We're grateful for your time. That is Dr. Frederick Odro, also giving his thought about happenings in Parliament. Away from Parliament, let's focus on some election-related issues. And here, ABC, we are your election poll center. We say vote, not peace. That is our major campaign. Let's move straight to the Electoral Commission. Now, the Electoral Commission on Wednesday, 6 November 2024, provided or registered political parties and independent presidential candidate with soft copies of the certified voters register in accordance with a sub-regulation 4 of Regulation 27 of Constitutional Instrument CI 91. The soft copies, which were presented to the political parties on external hard drives, contained the valid voter register, the exception list, the multiple list, and of course the transferred voter list, the absent voters list and manual verification list, the proxy voter list and the special voter list. In the statement they release, let's just put that on your screens, and it reads: the Electoral Commission on Wednesday, 8 November 2024, provided or registered political parties. All right, so let's take the bite. We'll come back and read the statement as well. Your election poll center here on ABC. We say vote, not violence. Let's now take the bite of the chairperson for the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah.
And so if you request that you want a summary, that's fine. But this is something we've been doing for since time immemorial, and we've not added summaries to it. And this is not the first time. In 2019, we gave out the soft copy of the register. In 2020, we gave out the soft copy of the register. In 2023, we gave out the soft copy of the register. And it did not have a summary. So the fact that there's no summary does not make it not certified. The register, as you see, as you have it, is a certified true copy of the register. If you choose to return it, that's your prerogative. You can do so. And this is a request you are making. It is not binding in law. It is not binding in law. And this is something we've been doing since time immemorial. If it is your request today, that's fine. I mean, we are not obliged to give it to you. But I think as a commission that believes in transparency, that accommodates and is responsive to the needs of its stakeholders, we don't have a problem generating the detailed summary for you. But we are not obliged. And there's nowhere in law. But as mentioned, and I like to put it on record, it has never happened. It's a request.
The conversation on this is Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. He is the Director of Elections and IT for the NDC. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Quickly, per the statement released by the EC, your request has been granted. Hello, Mr. Tanko.
I am saying that I'm correcting you. I'm the Deputy National Director of Elections. And
absolutely. Sorry, Sam. So, per the statement released by the EC, your request has been granted. What more is your concern with the registrar?
They have not granted our consent yet. Have they issued a statement saying they released the summaries and then the statistics of the register? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I'm listening to you, sir.
I'm asking whether they have released a statement indicating that they have released the voter statistics and the summaries of the register.
Well, as of yesterday, what they wrote on their platform is the released certified voters are registered to political parties.
That is what we rejected. That one we rejected it because it did not come with the statistics and summaries of the register. And their statement, it was complete rubbish. Because how can they say that they are not bound by law to do that? When they say such a thing, and they thought the media should take them on. Which law did they that allows them to issue ballot statistics to printing houses, to print ballot papers? Tell me which portion of the law that allows them to do that. So when it sues them, they go ahead and do their own thing. When it doesn't sue them, they come and be telling you that we are not binded. The law says print ballot papers for the conduct of presidential and parliamentary. But the law didn't tell you go and do statistics of the ballots. But you saw the wisdom that you cannot print ballots without doing what? Statistics. Is that not the case? You need the statistics, and you generate the statistics from the register. So if we are asking you statistics of a register, is it a problem? Is it a problem? You, the media, today, if somebody asks you, what is the total registered voters in Ghana for December 7, what will you tell them? What will you tell them? You are talking of certified. You are interested in mentioning certified, but what is the total in it? Do you know? So how are you going to report about the elections?
So, Dr. Tanko, what will be the NDC's next action in this? Quickly.
Our next action is that we are waiting for them to bring the statistics. They promise. We are waiting for them.
All right. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful. Yes.
And that is Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer. We're grateful so much for your time. Let's move on to some other stories, and we move straight to Bokum, where Kusa People's Congress has accused President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia for fueling a protracted Boko conflict. Now, speaking at the press conference held in Accra today, the president of the Kusa People Congress, Reverend Professor Isume, stated that Boko was peaceful before the new Patriotic Party government came to power, and that the government should not leave Boko to destabilize. Well, we're trying to bring you, that bite. Unfortunately, we seem to have some technical.
40 years? Is the Santahena going to mediate the Supreme Court ruling? Is the Santahena going to mediate with the criminals that the government says are perpetrating violence in Baku? The man process in their own recent press conference referenced the fact that Nairi enskinment of a rival chief is exactly what Asantehene has done in the Bono area. They are saying it. We are not saying it. The man process argued that if the government is claiming that Nairi's action is illegal, then by implication, Asantehene's actions are also illegal.
Let's go for a quick break. We're back with some business news. To some business news. The Cocoa Processing Company Limited is facing a worsening financial crisis. Its September 2024 inundated financial statement reports a loss of $13.8 million for the 9-month period ending September 30 to 2024, up from 12.38 million US dollars in the same period last year. The loss is mainly due to rising operational costs, including higher selling, distribution, and financial expenses. The cocoa processing company's revenue for the third quarter dropped to 31.1 million US dollars, a 3.86% decline from 32.3 million US dollars in 2023. Production has also significantly decreased, with processed cocoa beans falling by over 50% to 3,256 metric tons compared to 7,551 metric tons last year. Now, the Vice President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is set to launch a national credit score system today, November 7, 2024, as announced during his visit to Yeji in the Pru East region. The new system, he believes, will significantly improve access to credit, therefore enhancing the lives of many Ghanaians. It is designed to empower Ghanaians with emphasis on the initiative enabling Ghanaians to purchase goods on credit and paying an installment. Away from business, let's do some international news after this. For that, let's do sports instead. Now, the former Ghana Football Association Communications Director Ibrahim Sani Dara has called a patience for Otto Addo as he built a formidable team. The senior national team has come under intense pressure for their horrendous performance, and it is at risk of failing to qualify for the 2025 African Cup of Nations tournament. Now, after 4 games played, a Black Stars sit third in Group F with just 2 points and will wrap their qualifiers against Angola and Niger later this month. And that's all for the package this afternoon. I am Eric Chinibwa Mello. For more news, do want to log on to YouTube. That's ABC News GH, as well as you can. All right, so guys, let's do. Once again, we do apologize for that technical break over there. I was almost signing up, but let's do some international stories. Well, South Africa has temporarily closed its main border crossing with Mozambique, known as Lamimbo, due to safety concerns. Now, this decision was made in response to escalating protests in Mozambique against the disputed election results, which have resulted in at least 18 deaths and widespread violence. Wrap up with some entertainment news to stay. In entertainment Kumo, the actor Kojo Nkansah Lewin, popularly known as Lewin, has eaten back his vomit amidst the ongoing 5 million Ghana cedis defamation suit filed against him by colleague actress Martha Ankoma. The actor, in a recent live TikTok session, called on fans to join him and make an unqualified apology to the actress.
Said the Christian Gavia, so Gavia, and Ghana said the year a Kabumo, so on my lady Kabumo, and one of connected. Sabi, from you and Kum, Mestre, lawyer, Akanina, and now any good nimpen for Sabi, Manabum, and the door, money, maybe nearby. Mata, and Panas, or I must see you by Amtrafat. Town Panasama, and I'm so issue by sunset. Mention a government and them can say the fans say supporting me since day one. Abraham started moving ABC and day. The sense out of phoning now so many number assembly and become na young cup of the moon, name for chop like a sea. And see a young nearby Mata and Matasu. A son said, Monitia and Chibia and I mean, Sabi. Nya me nya ba mata akama akasakasa bi asɛ ɛntwa yi ebi so brother so ni so fa ɛdan dan no ɛhyɛ mu